Hi everyone, this is Ahmed with Double GDP. I'm going to be sharing my latest design updates, um, where I'm going to cover some of the progress from a visual design standpoint and also from an interaction standpoint. As I'm encountering new and different edge cases, I'm tweaking the designs in a way that's flexible and scalable from a business standpoint and also from a user standpoint, of course. Um, so let me dig right in. So one of the first things from a visual design standpoint, some more clarity on the colors. So now I have this black and gray. Uh, One of the things that I want to avoid is coming up with colors as I'm going and just pulling from different grays and different too many different shades, and then eventually kind of have a system that is not uh, as minimal and as efficient as we want it to be. So obviously this is still flexible and still something that is going to be changing as we encounter new use cases. But for now, this is what I have. Um, I also have a clear distinction between the primary color, where initially I use a standard green for the primary color, but now I have a green that is drawing inspiration from the Nkwashi site. But also a green that passes accessibility, where I can still have like white text on it that's legible. And uh, also, a different green than this one that I'm using to show status and alert. So this is success, neutral, warning, and high alert. Uh, this is where I'm using them on this in this latest update. Some of the things that I've changed here, I got rid of the secondary button because the clear primary action that we want the security guard to do here is to log this entry. But I also have thought through the buttons, because last time I had just logged this entry for all these different use cases. But now, uh, as I thought through this, for the expired, the call to action will be requesting extension. For expiring soon, it will still be log this entry. But for ban, this is where it could be like maybe call the police or call security or something. So, I mean, if there's security, then maybe this is called the authorities. Um, for the scanner, I have a different experience for resident and security guards. So for the security guards, let's go on the homepage. So on the homepage, I have these different segments here. So for a resident on the home screen, this is my hypothesis of what they could need at this point. Obviously, we'll need to test this and verify. But as I'm thinking through this, this is explore, request, wallet, support. This could be a good place to start. And for security guard, I'm surfacing search because security guards will be going through, looking up screen very often and scanning very often. So here I have a search box with a scanner on the side, and they could also search and just look up a specific user. So this will be the experience for security guard, and for admin, a different set of cards that I haven't thought through as much. Um, but also, we could be surfacing. This is still very early and work in progress, but this is the next step that I'm at. So there is this clear distinction between what the resident homepage would look like and what the security guard would look like. The admin still to be discussed and to be thought through. So here for new screens, some of the new screens that I had to work on. Uh, so I have distinct home screen for security guard, and then you hit the search box. It opens the search screen, and here once they start typing, it gives them suggestion. Within the suggestion is showing the different results before they even hit search, the result that match, and it's also showing the badge to show the status. So in this case, a new use case would be if something is pending, it would show it as such once they look it up. And then if they open the cart, we'll just have this new pending badge there. So this is the use case of a contractor. And so their status will show pending, and then the call to action here would be call admin if it's still pending. Let's say you search something that's not, that has no results. So here we say no results for Joseph, and this is a collateral screen, so not something that we necessarily added to the agenda for the sprint, but actually a use case. As I was thinking of all those different edge cases, this is an important step that kind of came, that I kind of thought about. And so what happens when there is no results? In that case, maybe it could be a prompt to ask them to request access for that person. So here it would be request or never mind. And then the review screen. So here I just have the open. What I'm thinking of is you have open requests. As a reviewer, you'd have open requests and you would have completed requests. So in your open request, you can review. And then in your completed requests, still something that I have to think through, but it will just show, I guess, a history of all the requests and what was granted and what was denied. And they could probably drill in and see more details. But in this case, let's say there is, and this applicant, I hit review as a security guard, and then I get the account detail page, right? Within the account detail page is showing me last modified, and then I can view the history. So I haven't thought about what the screen of view history would look like, but what I'm thinking about is that there I would be able to see who modified what, because these are sensitive information, and we would want to know who's making the changes in case there is some sort of fraud or some sort of someone going and kind of tampering with the information. We would kind of want to know who that is and be able to track that more easily. So this is what the screen looks like. So you can just quickly review it, and then at the end of the form, it would say grant or deny. And the reason why I'm putting it at the end of the form and not a sticky, a persistent button is because we want them to have to scroll all the way to the bottom and to really review this thoroughly. And then at the bottom, they would either grant it or deny it. If we keep it here as a persistent button, they could just automatically just grant without actually looking through. So that would make for a very safe experience. If they deny, it would ask them to confirm. Are you sure? Sorry, there is a typo here. Are you sure you want to deny? And then you would deny, or you would say never mind, just so someone doesn't just accidentally deny. And I'm thinking it would be the same thing for granting. Are you sure you want to grant access? And then you would confirm. So it would add some friction there, just to be safer. So let's say you want to edit anything in here, you would hit edit here, and then the form will be editable. And so you would see what's required, and then you would see what's optional. As you review it, you just review the information that's available. So here, if there was an ID card uploaded, I just wouldn't see it. And at the end of the list, I would just have these buttons right here after the vehicle list input field. If I hit edit, this is where it's exposing the entire form and the things that's optional and the things that's not. I guess in this case, be optional. Okay, so here you would hit save. Once if you edit anything, you would just hit save and save the information. If you needed to, in some of these information, it will be a drop down, and in others, it will be just a text field. So you'll pull the keyboard and then you'll just pick the keyboard. If it's a drop down, it'll just show a list. It would have a small arrow. Once you hit edit, it would expose the small arrow. You'll tap the arrow and it will show the drop down. So those small details are still things that I need to add, and as I'm thinking about all those different use cases. So I'll make sure to add those details. So what else? One of the screens also that I have is the SAD menu. That would here allow the security guard to sign out. And then, each segment of users will have a different list here in the side menu. So this is what I have so far. Here, this is where the security guard will be able to show their badge. And another difference is last week, this is what I had for all segments of users, but as I'm thinking of those different use cases, this would make sense for a resident to have the ID scanner and his ID all into the same screen and have the tab, because the ID scanner wouldn't be something that a resident will be using very often. But for the security guard in this flow, the scanner is the only thing that they have, right? Because they're not also showing the ID very often. So they all have those needs that's kind of different. So the way that the security guard would open their scanner, being that they have a search field now that's allowing them a quick entry to the scanner. Once they hit this, they open their scanner, which is just the scanner. And if they needed to show their ID, this is where they will go in the side menu and hit their badge that will show their ID. And I'm thinking that ID should be something that users could look at, or residents could look at and be able to identify that this is a security guard. Basically like a digital ID. But probably what I'm thinking is it'll be a little bit more, it'll be a little bit different and a little bit more descriptive than the QR code of a resident. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. So still something to be discussed or to be thought through there. But I'm thinking their badge is not a very important part in terms of them having to show their ID as much as a security guard, because they will have a real badge and all those things. So I didn't want to cram it into just one screen where it's predominantly the ID card, and then the next tab is the ID scanner, just for the sake of flexibility. So in this case, I kind of sacrificed the flexibility of kind of putting that, everyone having the same screens, even though the security guard didn't need it as much. To have something specific to the security guard where it's just a scanner, and they could have that scanner open and just scan through IDs all day. Once they scan through the ID, they see the information, they can dismiss it and get back to the scanner. Once they log the entry, it shows them this little message and gets back to the scanner, and it shows them this little success message that says entry is logged, and they can hit undo if they wanted to undo it maybe. But yeah, so this is what I have so far. Okay, so this is all I have for now. More to come soon. All right, thank you.